Sofia worked in one of the best hospitals in the city. She was a surgeon. That was her dream. Her mother did not like her daughter's choice to spend her life in human bodies, but saving lives was a beautiful mission. Sofia was a fragile and calm girl. She could have been a neurologist, an ophthalmologist, a therapist, but she said firmly, "I want to operate on people." During her time at the hospital, she showed her best side, and management had already trusted her with a complicated surgery. Often, they even called her on weekends and holidays. "My dear, if you continue dedicating all your time to work, you will never get married," her mother said. "Marriage is not the main goal of life," Sofia replied. "You are crazy. You are a woman, and you know that women age faster. Time passes, the clock is ticking," her mother said. "Then let the clock take me," Sofia replied indifferently. The last time she was in a relationship was in college. She was in love with a classmate, but he cheated with her best friend. Since then, Sofia had gotten rid of her friends and kept her distance from them, so she would not have to endure all that pain again. But she was beautiful. Blonde curls, porcelain white skin, brown eyes. She was like a doll. But that doll had a character of steel. Her profession was taking its toll. That night, Sofia had already left the hospital. It was a long day. 2 surgeries scheduled in the morning, and then she operated on a man after a car accident for several hours. Now his life was no longer in danger, but she was exhausted. She walked along the sidewalk of the hospital park and wished to go to the apartment she shared with her mother, take off her boots and coat, and go straight to the bathtub. There, she would spend an entire hour in the snow-white bathtub in a blackberry foam bath. Then she would go to bed and fall into a sweet sleep. Suddenly, she heard a heavy groan. Sofia stopped and looked around, perplexed. It was getting dark, and it was freezing that night. Sofia shivered from the cold and looked at the nearby bushes. It seemed the groan was coming from there. "Who is there?" she asked loudly and boldly. She walked toward the large bush, turning on her phone flashlight. The next moment, she saw a man lying in the bush. He was writhing in pain, gasping, trying to shout something, but everything that came out of his throat sounded like a groan. Sofia approached, saw the man, and stepped back. He was homeless, dressed in rags. He was of uncertain age, with very long and dirty hair and a gray beard. The smell confirmed it again. It was a man who had hit the bottom of society. Maybe he drank, she caught herself thinking doubtfully, but immediately she realized she was trying to find a reason not to approach. She immediately felt ashamed. After all, she was a doctor, and it was clear he needed medical help. "Sir, are you okay? Do you need any help?" she asked, and sat next to the homeless man. He looked at her with eyes full of pain and despair, and only groaned again, holding his stomach. "I am a doctor. Let me examine you," Sofia said softly, touching the poor man with her hand. The calm voice and kindness that she had long forgotten made her freeze. Sofia placed her hand on his abdomen, pressed a few times, and immediately understood. Sofia dialed the hospital emergency number and called paramedics to the park. The receptionist was surprised and said, "But you need to call an ambulance from the free municipal hospital. Our hospital does not accept this kind of patient. It is an expensive and decent hospital." Sofia said, "The man needs urgent surgery. He may not make it to another hospital. Send an ambulance here now." The receptionist could not disobey the commanding voice of the surgeon, and soon paramedics ran along the park path with a stretcher. When they saw the man, they were confused. "Sofia, are you sure we can take him to our hospital?" one of them questioned. "Do you suggest we leave him here?" she said indignantly. "But he is a beggar and we work in an expensive hospital," the paramedic replied. "First of all, he is a human being. Take him carefully and put him on a stretcher." The paramedics just shrugged and did what the doctor told them. Everyone in the emergency room was also in shock. The nurses turned pale. Even the janitors were shocked. And Derek, the doctor on duty, said he would not perform the surgery. "I won't even get near that beggar," he said. "I can do it myself." Sofia smiled and gave orders to the nurses. "The municipal hospital will take care of that beggar," Derek said. "And where will they take him?" she asked. "They take everyone like him there," the man said. "But it is more than an hour away, and he will obviously get worse. In this condition, he may die on the way," Sofia said with a cold look. "So you think we should treat all beggars, Sofia? You are in a high-class hospital where rich people and even millionaires come. He is dirty, smells, and may have some infection," the doctor said indignantly. "A good cleaning of the operating room eliminates all problems," Sofia replied, and rolled the beggar on the stretcher into the room. The nurses hesitated a little but followed Sofia. They knew she was right, but what would the chief doctor say about it? Mr. Edvaldo had already left, but he would find out later anyway. "Girls, I take full responsibility," Sofia said, seeing the doubt in their eyes. "Hurry, wash him, and I will go to the operating room to prepare everything." The old anesthesiologist, Mr. Wilson, did not say a word. He was a man of old habits. Like everyone at the operating table, he appreciated Sofia's attitude and tried not to think about the chief doctor's reaction. The operation was successful, though with difficulty. "Sofia, you made the right decision. If he had been sent to another hospital, he would already be dead," Mr. Wilson told her. "Yes, that's exactly what I've been trying to tell everyone," Sofia said. "But be ready to be scolded by Edvaldo," the anesthesiologist warned. "But why? Mr. Edvaldo is human. I think he will understand," she said. "First of all, he is a businessman. Who will pay for this burden? He doesn't even have an identity," Mr. Wilson reminded her. "Jesus, he will stay in our hospital for only a few days, then we will take him to the municipal hospital," she said. She was very naive. But Sofia was sure the chief doctor would understand. She returned home only after midnight. She had already forgotten about the bath. She just washed her face quickly, went to bed, and collapsed onto the pillow, falling into a deep sleep. In the morning, a phone call woke her up. It was the chief doctor. He was shouting on the phone that Sofia had created unsanitary conditions and violated regulations. "What should I do now? Put the hospital in quarantine?" Mr. Edvaldo shouted. "But why? We did all the tests. We even did a chest x-ray on that man. There is nothing wrong with him. He is healthy. He would have died if we hadn't operated," Sofia replied calmly. "Why do you care? Is he your father, brother, husband, or friend? That beggar has long been dead to society. Such a man has no place in the world," the chief doctor said. "Mr. Edvaldo, sorry, but your reasoning is not that of a doctor," Sofia dared to say. How dare you speak like that to the chief doctor, he shouted. You are fired. You can forget your salary and your labor rights. They will cover the hospital's losses. Her hands trembled as he hung up. Sofia stood still, tears running down her face. Sofia stood beside the window, not even noticing the tears running down her face. My dear, are you crying? Her mother approached her slowly. Who were you talking to? The chief doctor, Sofia said, wiping her tears. Mom, I was fired. Then she told the whole story. Her mother listened and only shook her head. My God, what a difficult time we are living in. He thinks you did the wrong thing? Mom, all that matters to people like Mr. Edvaldo is status and money. Human life has no value to him. It's okay, my dear, don't worry. You did the right thing. I'm sure someone in heaven is watching everything that is happening. Everything will come back to you 10 times over, her mother said, hugging Sofia. I hope so, but I'm unemployed now. How will we survive? I will look for a new job, but I think Mr. Edvaldo will make sure I am blacklisted from hospitals. In that case, I won't be able to get a job anywhere. Well, it doesn't matter. You can be a pharmacist. I mean, they earn good money, her mother said. Mom, only surgery. I'm used to saving people, not selling medicine. But maybe you're right. We'll see. Meanwhile, Mr. Edvaldo was already calling other hospitals and telling chief doctors not to hire Sofia under any circumstances. Then there was a knock on his office door. A worried assistant entered. Mr. Edvaldo, we have an inspection today, his secretary said nervously. I just received a call from my friend. She is a secretary at the Ministry of Health. She warned me they are coming for an unplanned inspection. I can't believe it, Mr. Edvaldo shouted. This is the last thing I need. Have they already removed that beggar? We are waiting for an ambulance, the assistant replied. When will it arrive? He asked angrily. He immediately called the head of the therapeutic department and shouted, Get that homeless man out of the hospital. I don't care if you throw him under a bush. An inspection from the Ministry of Health is on the way, and we have an unregistered patient here, not fully examined, without identity. Take him to the other side of the park and let the municipal hospital ambulance pick him up from there. But it's cold outside. It's autumn, someone replied. It's not winter yet. You can cover him with a blanket, the chief doctor said. The nurses took the patient on a stretcher toward the exit. At that moment, people from the Ministry of Health appeared at the entrance. They had already passed, but one man became interested and followed them. Where exactly are you taking the patient, and where is the ambulance? The inspector asked. It should already be here, Mr. Edvaldo replied, smiling. We performed an emergency operation on the patient. It was successful, and now we are transferring him to another hospital for further treatment. The inspector turned and looked out the window. He saw that an ambulance had indeed arrived. He walked past the patient, but suddenly looked at his face and froze. Father! The man exclaimed and ran to the stretcher. Everyone looked confused. Another inspector approached. Nathaniel, you must be mistaken. Then he looked at the man himself and gasped, Mr. Fabio, is that you? The homeless man on the stretcher looked at them in confusion, but kept his eyes on Nathaniel. They knew each other. However, something had happened. He could not remember where he knew this young man from, but the man had called him Father. Father, do you recognize me? Nathaniel asked. Looking at the familiar facial features, he could not believe it. His father, whom they had been searching for the last 2 years, already having lost hope of finding him alive, was lying in front of him on a stretcher. He was thin, with a beard and hair grown almost to his shoulders. It had happened more than a year ago. Mr. Fabio had just celebrated his retirement. He had a large medical equipment business and wanted his son to leave his position at the Ministry of Health and join the business. But Nathaniel was stubborn and said he liked his job, and that business was not for him. This made Mr. Fabio very sad. Who would manage the business then? He had a stepson, slightly older, but Paolo was frivolous. He would ruin everything very quickly. However, there was no choice. Mr. Fabio signed a power of attorney for him and began teaching him the basics. Then Mr. Fabio was attacked. He was driving his car when another car cut him off. Some criminals got out and hit him on the head. He only remembered falling into the river with the car. He managed to get out of the sinking car and then woke up on the shore. His head hurt. He could barely feel his arms and legs, and most importantly, he remembered nothing. 2 homeless men were warming themselves by a fire on the shore. Mr. Fabio went to them. They saw an old man with a bleeding head and offered to help. They wanted to take him home, but he could not remember where to go. The homeless men did not want to go to the police, so they simply kept him with them. That is how Mr. Fabio became homeless, without memory and without a past. The police told his family that they found the car in the river, but not the body. But the current was strong. They could search for years and not find anything. Nathaniel did not believe his father was dead and continued searching for him. Even though they were in the same city, they always walked different streets and never met. Meanwhile, Paolo quickly took control of the company and began managing it his own way. But he ran it so badly that the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Nathaniel was furious. His brother had nearly destroyed their father's business. How will we tell father when he returns? He asked. People don't come back from the dead, Paolo smiled. But Mr. Fabio had returned. Yes, he was the man on the stretcher. Nathaniel immediately ordered them to take his father to a room and ensure he received the best care. No one dared to contradict him. The chief doctor now gave orders about what to do and how to do it. Nathaniel had no idea where they had wanted to take his father before. He had forgotten about that in the moment. He was worried about something else, how to restore his father's memory. It became clear that he had amnesia. Would it be forever? Then Nathaniel overheard two nurses talking. He was standing in the ward, and the girls were speaking in the corridor. "We were sure he was a beggar," one of them was saying. "Mr. Edvaldo is trying to please him now, but he still fired Sofia for saving a human life." "Exactly. I feel sorry for that girl." "There are few doctors as talented as Sofia," the other nurse replied. "But there will always be injustice." "Yeah, maybe we should tell the man from the Ministry of Health. He should know who saved his father and who got fired for it," one suggested. "Oh no, Mr. Edvaldo will punish us," the other said. At that moment, Nathaniel appeared behind the door. "Excuse me, girls, but I heard everything," he said directly. "Tell me what really happened." The nurses were frightened at first. Nathaniel could also fire them if he wanted. But out of fear, they did not hide anything. They told him everything. How Sofia found his father, how she operated on him despite everyone's objections, and how the chief doctor shouted and fired her. They also told him that Mr. Edvaldo wanted to throw the patient out into the street so the inspectors would not see an unregistered homeless man in the hospital. After hearing this, Nathaniel went to the chief doctor's office. The doctor was in a good mood. The inspection would go smoothly, and he could relax. The fact that the beggar was the inspector's father even seemed beneficial to him. He was ready to say how he had saved the old man in his hospital. He did not expect the staff to expose him. Everyone was tired of his arrogance and bad temper. "You don't need to worry," Mr. Edvaldo smiled when he saw Nathaniel at the door. "Your father is in one of the best hospitals. I will ensure he receives the best treatment." "I do not doubt that," Nathaniel said with a tense smile, sitting in front of him and looking him in the eyes. "Because now you know who his son is. But before that, you wanted to throw him into the street like a stray dog." "You are mistaken," Mr. Edvaldo said nervously. "You also fired the girl who saved my father," Nathaniel continued. "She chose to resign," the chief doctor lied. "I know the truth. Go to that girl now and convince her to come back here," Nathaniel said. "Understood," the chief doctor said, nodding, and hurried out of the office, leaving Nathaniel alone. When Sofia saw the chief doctor at the door of her apartment, she was confused. Had he decided not to send the dismissal papers and instead bring them personally? "Sofia, forget everything I told you. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Let's go to the hospital. The son of that old man you operated on is waiting for you there." "Sofia, you did an excellent job. It turned out to be the father of one of the executives from the Ministry of Health." "The father of an executive? What was he doing on the street?" she wondered. "It's a complicated story. I think the police will handle it now," the man said. Sofia hesitated, but she loved her job. She had to overcome her pride, and she went to the hospital with Mr. Edvaldo. When Nathaniel saw the young surgeon, he was surprised. "She is so young, and she was not afraid to go against the chief. That is very brave." "Return to work. No one will fire you again. Mr. Edvaldo realized his mistake," he said. The chief doctor nodded awkwardly. Sofia could barely hold back her laughter. It was the first time Mr. Edvaldo looked so pathetic. Several months passed. Mr. Fabio was discharged. Sofia was working at the hospital and everyone had forgotten the incident. Then news spread throughout the city. The police discovered that Mr. Fabio's stepson, Paolo, had been responsible for the attempt on his life. He had ordered the attack on his stepfather. He could not wait to take over the business, so he decided to speed up the process. Now, he was in prison. Mr. Fabio regained his memory but did not return to business. Instead, a peaceful old age awaited him beside his caring son. Later, Paolo received parole only because Nathaniel hired a good lawyer. His father had asked him to. He did not want his stepson to spend his life in prison. After the trial, Paolo moved to another city and no longer kept contact with the family. "How can a person do such a thing?" the chief doctor said when he learned the details. His colleagues listened and nodded, but then smiled. Mr. Edvaldo was not someone who had the right to speak about honor and morality. Later, another inspection took place at the hospital. They discovered that the chief doctor had been embezzling state funds. All the money provided by the state to the hospital had gone into Mr. Edvaldo's pocket. He was put on trial and also received parole. Now he no longer spoke about honor and morality. He was suspended from the medical profession. Sofia continued working as a surgeon, but now, after a day of work, she was not rushing home to her mother. She was going on dates. Yes, she was dating Nathaniel, and they would soon get married. The man was a little older than Sofia, but that difference in age meant nothing. Because love knows no boundaries.